Hours after the flames were out at the Heights Apartment Complex, some residents are finding that they have a few things they can salvage.
Then they're going to put that fence around it.
George Kaplinger can do little more than watch his neighbors move out what they can. He does not have anything left to save. Kaplinger was inside that second-floor corner apartment. He had to move fast.
It was a nightmare, about 10:30 when seeing people going around the building hollering there's a fire, so I hurried up and got my dogs out as fast as I could and took off, and next thing I know it was all up in flame.
Irving firefighters were on the scene within 6 minutes of the first and only 911 call. They say the building's construction and the extreme heat helped the flames move quickly.
When the first unit got here, the fire had already grown to a pretty large proportion, so we had to go defensive pretty quick.
Then this happened.
Right now we have a water break on an 8-inch cast iron line.
The water from this old line was one of several sources the fire department was using to put out the fire.
I won't say that it didn't have any effect. I can't measure or determine the amount of effect it had because, again, we would have been hooked to multiple sources.
Even as firefighters were still battling the blaze, people in other city departments were moving quickly to help the victims.
I received a phone call this morning around 4 a.m.
The city decided, with the assistance of Red Cross, to go ahead and set up a shelter.
Shelter rules kept us from getting video of the fire victims here, but we can tell you that more than 55 residents of that apartment complex sought services here at Center Park Recreation Center.
We're working with the emergency management people here in Irving and all the people in this area trying to make sure that their needs are met. These are diapers right here.
The team response is one that the city had prepared and practiced. This recreation center is a designated emergency shelter, so crews there are ready all the time.
We have 20 cots that are actually stationed at Center Park, so just in case of emergency does happen, we're able to have the cots, we're able to roll them out.
Multiple departments are involved, and a lot of this is through training and exercises that we have beforehand that help us prepare for events that happen like this.
Back at the fire scene, more city employees are arriving to do what they can to help the fire victims.
Code enforcement's out here to make sure that we get the people into a safe location, that the buildings aren't safe to go back into.
The role of housing is more to help with counseling and to help hook people up with different resources. For example, we have a gentleman who is a veteran and his medicine was burned up in the fire and he has pretty severe Parkinson's, so we'll be working with the VA to make sure that he's set back up.
Well, I think that's our first goal, is to try and help people to make sure that they're safe, make sure that their families have some place to go.
It's a big response that starts with the first call to the fire department.
Firefighters come in and through a coordinated team effort do the most effective job they can possibly do in fighting a fire.
Apartment resident George Kaplinger recognizes the danger those firefighters confronted.
Because it can collapse and, cause them to lose their life, trying to save another life.
And even though he lost everything, he is glad to know
we didn't lose no lives.
Now many of his neighbors are getting help from the city in their recovery.
Helping folks is kind of what the city is here to do. It's our responsibility to take care of the residents, provide them services, whether if it's good times or bad times. This happens to be one of the bad times, but we're here to provide them assistance in any way that we can.